Good afternoon, Mr. François Crépeau. You are the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the Human Rights of Migrants. Thank you very much for your time and for this interview for mdplatform.ch. I'd like to start with a general question. We speak now a lot at the international level about a global compact on migration. Can you tell us more about this process and about the context in which this process takes place?
Yes. Not long ago, let's say 4 years ago, 5 years ago, states had this idea, and had it since the Second World War, that migration was the preserve of their sovereign power, and that there was no question of discussing that in international fora. Now, the various crises, what has been called the refugee crisis or the migration crisis that Europe has had the impression to endure in the past 2-3 years, has changed this perspective. What we see today is that states have understood that human mobility across the planet cannot be managed, controlled, governed by any single state. It has to be a collective effort to make sure that migration is at the same time regular, organized, governed, safe. No one dies in the Mediterranean. Everyone's rights are protected, and orderly. That there is a process, and this is what the Global Compact tries to initiate. States have given themselves a 2-year time to discuss a first level of governance for global migration, and they have invited not only themselves to the table, but also all the partners that they need to make that an effective process. And they certainly need the business community, they certainly need international organizations, they certainly need civil society in each of the countries, but also at international level.
Okay, thank you. I understand what's new is that there is now a debate at the global level on migration, that it's cross-sector. One thing that puzzled me actually is the notion of a compact, the concept of a compact. Why do we use that concept instead of an international agreement simply?
We use the word, well, I imagine, because I was not in the secret of those who negotiated, but I imagine that the word compact is used for 2 reasons. One, it does not have a precise meaning. If you say international agreement, it means a legal commitment. States are probably not ready to make legal commitments on international migration. They probably are ready to make political commitments. So the word global compact is open. You can have different things in a global compact. At the same time, the word compact resembles the word contract, and it's something that is made together. And in that sense, it connotes the idea that there's a collective effort to try to arrive at a consensus, a result that we can agree upon, even though it's not legally binding, but it's a bit more than fluffy words. We've had the New York Declaration in September 2016. The Global Compact must be more than that. It must be, and we imagine it will be, a declaration again, but also some kind of plan of action. How? We don't know yet. So an implementation framework that will add to the declaration. So the compact allows for quite a lot of imaginative mechanisms to be included.
So you describe what seems to be a very open and open-ended process as to the final results, the final document that will be adopted in September 2018. You speak a lot about states, but also you mention other stakeholders. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a bit more about, for instance, the participation of the civil society in this process,
Absolutely.
in these consultations?
Yeah, states are key because they are the legislator. They are the ones who create international law. So states are at the center of the process. They decide the process. But they are very aware of the fact that all by themselves, they will not respond to the migration challenge. So they needed all the other actors, including civil society. And civil society is key because on many issues, they will be the ones delivering on the Global Compact. If we think about integration of migrants, it is not the social worker or the migration department civil servant who will do the integration of the migrants. It will be the school teacher, it will be the social worker, it will be the employer who will provide a first job to acquire skills that will be transferable. I mean, all these people are needed to succeed in the integration process. And on many other issues regarding migration, civil society will be able to bring forward projects, programs, good practices, lessons learned, what has worked, what hasn't worked, and why. And this will be key when states will take the Global Compact and say, okay, how do we apply this in my country? Then civil society will bring forward all those ideas that they've had for years, but couldn't find a civil servant to listen to. Now, states will look for those projects and programs and will actually try to implement the Global Compact with the help of civil society, of the private sector, of international organizations.
Thank you. You show actually quite concretely how the civil society and the private sector will play or shall play a key role in inspiring policies and in implementing them. My next question actually refers to that. Implementation. It's an international document. It's a global compact. What about its implementation at the national level? Mm-hmm. How shall that function? How shall that happen?
Well, states will have to devise mechanisms to internalize what has been decided and what they have consented to at global level. This may take many forms. And very probably states will have to, at national level, do what they've done at global level, i.e. create a process through which all the stakeholders will be brought into the game of implementing the Global Compact. Civil society, academics, business community, civil servants, they will, and local actors like cities who are very important. All these actors will be brought, hopefully, forward, and there will be a big discussion as how do we implement this and that. On integration, to take the same example, we will need cities to bring forward ideas. We will need community NGOs for certain communities who will bring forward something that has worked for them and could be experimented in other communities. Academics will bring ideas as how to structure a number of ideas, etc. So we will all have to work, and states will have, and I think most of them will have, to create a much more open dialogue in society. And to me, the big advantage of that is it may be the best response to the populist discourse.
Thank you. We see that we are at the beginning of a very ambitious process.
Yep.
My last question is, when do we meet to discuss the substance of this Global Compact? So when do we next meet?
We are in the middle of a consultation phase of the Global Compact process. There will be a negotiation phase when a zero draft has been adopted and then states decide what they consent to. So we can meet at the zero draft phase to see what the co-facilitators come up with in terms of ideas, but we will certainly meet after the Global Compact has been adopted in September 2018 to discuss what has been consented to by states and to try to think through what the implementation mechanisms will be.
We very much look forward to that. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.